Hello, I'm David Beckham. No, I'm not. I'm James. This is engVid. This is David Beckham. But you might be thinking right now some interesting questions as to why did I say I was David Beckham instead of James as normal? Well, I wanted to get your attention. I wanted to start a conversation. And a lot of times we do this through asking questions. This lesson is about how to change your questions, because many people learning English like to ask questions where the answer is yes and no. And frankly, that's quite boring. It puts me to sleep, okay? So I'm going to teach you in this lesson how to use W5 questions in order to make a conversation much more interesting, to learn more about the person than they can learn about you. And when I'm done with you, you're going to be an excellent conversationalist. That's a person who is good at making people like them. Are you ready? Let's go to the board. Here's E. Boring. Blah, 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 blah. Yes and no. Do you think the weather is nice? Yes, no. Do you like your food? Yes, no. Blah, blah, blah. These lead to questions in which people answer yes, and you are forced to continually ask questions. And it sounds more like you're being interviewed, like a police interview. Where were you at last? Da, 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 da. Oh my gosh. And then there's these colorful ones. See these nice little balls all happy and nice? These are W5 questions, because not only are you asking a question, you're asking about me and asking for my opinion. I want to give it to you, which means I'll talk to you longer and you'll get the opportunity to become a better listener and speaker. Right? Let's go to the board. Okay, first things first. W5 questions for more interesting conversations. What is W5? Because I've said it about 5 times, and some of you will know right off, and some of you are, I don't understand. W5 are information questions. These are the things that we use in English to get information. So you cannot say yes or no to these things. You actually have to explain. And by explaining, you give more information, which makes it much more interesting for me, the listener, and for you as the speaker, because you get to explain yourself. W5, we start off with who. These are the people. Who are you speaking to? Who are you speaking about? People and persons. Okay? When? This is the time. What time did it happen? 12 o'clock, February 2001, September 11th. Ring a bell, anyone? Makes a difference. Okay? Where? This is the location. Where did it take place? In my house, at work, in Ireland, in Jamaica, in Japan. Where changes everything, right? Why? What is the reason that we're having this conversation? Why did you do it? People have reasons, and if you ask them, it's amazing what they'll tell you. Most of the times we look for yes or no because we want information, but the reason behind somebody did it might explain why the yes or the no. Much clearer to you, and sometimes to them, actually. And what? What are we talking about? What is the subject of conversation? It's not always about people. It can be about money, health, politics. What is important to us, right? The subject of conversation. And here's one in orange, because it's not really W, maybe at the end. But how? How is really useful. I put there as W5, because it's the method. How did you get there? Like, tell me the steps that you got there. Not your reason, but the way that you did it, okay? So why did I go to Japan? Because I love the country, I love the people. How did I get there? By airplane and then by boat, because I wanted to go to Okinawa. That changes the story, okay? So if we put these together, and you're going to ask in a second, what do you mean? Because I've told you we're going to be great conversationalists. We'll go through a sample conversation in a second. But here's this, okay? These are often used in English writing. That's why I'm giving it to you now, because we use it in writing, because in writing, you're speaking when you write, but you don't know your audience. So a lot of people use these things in their writing to actually get to know who their audience is and maybe make it much more interesting for a person that they don't know who's going to read their work later on. So why don't we take this idea, okay, and use it, because it will help make our topic clear. Okay, when we're speaking to somebody. It will help finding out who our audience will be, not just who we're speaking to, but who it might be in the future, or who we should be speaking to. Okay, and what method we should use in speaking to someone that will get the best results. Because by using these questions, people give us the information we need to make the conversation for them. And once it's interesting for them, trust me, it'll be interesting for you. You'll get a lot of conversations. Okay, so as I said here, do this in conversation, you'll be amazing. So why don't we have a sample conversation now to give you an example of how to use W5. Because I know you've heard many people say it before, but why don't we show you how to use it and see how you can actually change dull, boring, mundane. These all were words that say not interesting. Okay, conversation into one that's exciting and interesting. Are you ready? Let's go. Okay, so we talked about color. Making conversation colorful through W5 questions. You noticed here, it was black and white and boring. You don't even know, it's just blah, blah, blah. And all this colorful stuff here brings your eye, just like it brings the attention. It's not that conversation is all about you, but when you need to practice it, you do need people to speak to you so you can work on your listening skills and your ability to get your information to other people, right? Let's go to the board. Actually, I'll go on this side. Now, if you notice, as soon as I moved away, you probably saw this here, but then your eye went down there because there was so much color. Let's look at the type of questions that we're asking, and you'll understand why this is in color and more interesting to you than this. Let's change the conversation. Here's a simple conversation of 3 sentences. I walk up and say to you, hey, do you celebrate Christmas? You're going to say yes or no. Conversation is done. So I have to say again, okay, well, do you celebrate it, if you do, on December 25th? Because there's actually an Orthodox Christmas that's in January or February, I can't remember, but it's a different time. So you might have to say yes or no. Once again, the conversation is dead. And to bring it alive, I'm going to say, hey, do you buy presents at Christmas? You know, do you buy presents for your family and friends? Some people do and some people don't, depending on their religion. So once again, the answer is yes or no. This is a terribly boring conversation. And I don't want to keep asking 50 questions just to have you go, yeah, no, maybe, yeah. Let's make it interesting. The same type of question with a W5. How do you celebrate Christmas? What? Maybe I go, well, I don't celebrate. Now notice I didn't say yes or no. I go, well, no, I don't celebrate Christmas. I actually have to answer your, do you celebrate Christmas? I go, no, I don't celebrate it. And I might say, no, why is that? Well, in my country, we don't have Christianity. We have a Shinto religion and da-da-da-da. Now I'm learning about you through asking a question. And within one simple question, I've got you giving me maybe 5, 6, 7 sentences, which will help me to find out other questions to ask to get more information. Because once I'm talking to you and I have some knowledge on you, we can have an exchange. And that's what we want. Remember, we talked at the beginning, the whole point of learning this is that at the end, you'll be able to learn to listen better to people and actually be able to give information, but to exchange it so we can learn and make you a very good conversationalist. And within this one question, we can see the difference because this leads down to these quite quickly here. But we can even go further, right? What kind of things do you celebrate? Because remember here, they said, we don't celebrate Christmas. Then you say, hey, what kind of things do you celebrate? Huh? Well, you know, like birthdays, weddings, anniversaries. I don't know. What do you celebrate? Easter? Wow, now they get to tell you about their culture, their history. And you could say, and why do you celebrate them? Is it for religious reasons? Is it a national holiday? Is it just your family likes doing it? Why? Now you got people who kind of like, well, and you're talking about something personal. Look, it's the same 3 questions. The difference is this is going to take 2 minutes. This is going to take an hour. And you get to practice that what you want, which is get better at your English. Okay? Hey, you might also make a new friend. I forgot that part. Okay. And finally, when do you get together with others? Because maybe someone says, look, this celebration thing, you're driving me crazy. I don't celebrate. And you can easily say, so when do you get together with your family or your friends? And they might say, well, you know what? Once a week we get together and we play a board game just so we can talk and find out what's going on with ourselves, you know, with each other. And what do you do? Maybe we play games or we go to a park and have a picnic. When I was a kid, my father would take us at least once every 2 weeks to the park and we'd have a picnic and we'd just play. So we all got to know each other because we could ask each other about the week, what had happened during the week in a nice casual situation or, situation. And the best thing about it was that it was on every week. So I kind of started looking forward to it. and I got to know people who I lived with even better. And guess what? You can do the same with English strangers. Practicing your English, working on your conversation, which is a skill you're going to learn and need for work, social situations, dating. It goes on and on. Just think about how you live your world now in your country speaking your own language, and how you're going to have to use that same kind of skill set or those same skills in an English speaking environment. If you can learn how to use W5, you're going to find that not only can you do the situations in life that you need to, go to the doctors, go on a date, get a job, you'll have fun doing it and maybe make extra friends while doing so. Anyway, that's my speech on it. I hope you enjoyed it. You should learn now. Here's an example speech, how to change everyday conversation. And you notice, and sometimes you can just put the how in front of the do. Like, how do you buy presents at Christmas? How do you celebrate? Right? Just even something as simple as that can change the whole way you ask a question and the response you get back. Did you like that? Glad you did. So you're probably wondering, how can you learn more English? See, I just gave you information question, and I'll give you the answer because I can't say yes or no. I'm going to say, go to www.ing as in English, vid as in video.com, where you can go over this lesson again, go over other lessons on conversation skills, and master your English. I look forward to seeing you there. And once again, thank you for supporting engVid. Have a good day. And before I forget, don't forget to subscribe. That button might be here, 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 or here, wherever you are. But subscribe and you can get the latest video that I produce whenever it's ready. All right? Take care.